Side-scrolling games have been around for a long time. Since the arcade days, actually. And since their inception, they grew into what was probably the most successful format of early video gaming. I mean, the side-scrolling formula was pretty genius. It might seem intuitive to us today after having been exposed to it for so long, but look at early game design. Developers really had no idea what the hell they were doing. Back when Donkey Kong was chewing through everybody's supply of quarters or whatever old arcade machines took, it really took a stroke of genius for developers to think outside the box. Like, literally, games took place all boxed in on one screen, until one day someone had the stroke of genius to say, hey, why not make these levels expand past the boundaries of the screen? Think about what that did for gaming. There was no sense of adventure before, when you could literally see everything you were up against. Side-scrolling gave players the gift of anticipation. You didn't know what was out there past the edge of the screen, and you wanted to find out. Well, as one might expect, the format exploded. Once Super Mario Bros. Hit in 1985 along with Nintendo's groundbreaking home console, the NES, game after game emulated its design, with varying degrees of success. It wasn't until 2 years later that a team from Capcom consisting of only 6 people gave the world Mega Man. And it was perfect. Well, it was close to perfect, but it was well on its way. Here's why.
Episode where he wished all the girls away, except this time he wished away the dudes.
As you
That's
can see
funny.
from my gelatinous body and many waving tentacles, I am clearly not a boy of this earth. Shall we slide around on this bed of frozen liquid?
Music! The musical score in nearly every Mega Man game ever made has been fantastic. It's something the series has been revered for over the years, and it's one of the reasons Mega Man was so successful as a side-scrolling platformer. With such high energy and obvious roots in late 80s rock and roll, see what I did there? Mega Man's music was incredibly effective in driving the player forward, which is pretty much the most fundamental goal of any side-scroller. Mega Man utilized the full capabilities of the NES's sound engine to create tunes that were catchy and memorable. Think about the music and sound in general in early video gaming. It was clear that there really wasn't much focus on it. A lot of it was just kind of a series of beeps that sort of formed a tune, and even when it was pretty catchy or a complex one, say like in Super Mario Bros., there really wasn't that much variety. Mega Man changed all that. The first Mega Man game features 16 unique tracks, and Mega Man 2, a whopping 21. Manami Matsumae, Mega Man's music and sound composer, was actually displeased with the NES's limitations only allowing 3 notes to be played simultaneously. There's plenty of music on the radio today that only uses 3 simultaneous tracks. Or less! Sorry, Drake, but you're no better than an NES tune. And it's not like they quit trying as time went on. When Mega Man X came out, the music that came with it was better than ever before. When it comes to Mega Man, Capcom has never failed to push every limitation on a given gaming platform, and the music in Mega Man is no exception. The bottom line is, they gave a shit, and it was super effective. Narrative! Now, I'm sure you all know Mega Man doesn't have a terribly complex story. I mean, it's not like they sit you down like, once upon a time, there was a robot boy named Rock. Rock had a sister, 2 daddies and 6 brothers. One day, one of Rock's daddies went batshit crazy and kidnapped all the boys except Rock because Rock was too much of a pansy to be of any use to anyone. Mega Man's narrative is a largely silent one, and sometimes those are the most effective. I love to use the Metroid series as an example of this. Despite the fact that the first Metroid makes me want to rip out all my hair and throw my TV out the window, it told a decent story just by being like, okay, you're on a hostile alien world. Have fun! Mega Man also took the silent route, but made it so much more effective than its side-scrolling predecessors. Even without reading the game's storyline in the instruction manual, there was a lot it told you just from the way the game was presented. I mean, first of all, choosing what order to complete the stages in was a completely new concept. You could see the names of the bosses you were hunting down, and you could see that they all ended in man, just like you. And after blasting your way through a sea of mindless robots, you would finally arrive in a robot master's chamber. Upon a bit of observation, you start to think, hey, you're kinda like me, aren't you? We're both a kind of man, and you're not a big brutish machine like the ones outside. Hey, maybe we're brothers. No time for that! Time to fight for your life! And before you know it, one of you dies. It was kind of impossible to hate the bad guys. Even without knowing the game's story and how Mega Man truly was reluctant to go out and hunt down his kin, the game managed to make that clear on its own. This is done very effectively during the credits as Mega Man silently runs home. It almost seems as if he's taking the time to reflect on everything that's happened. I mean, why hoof it when you can just teleport? And the fact that he sheds his battle outfit on the way shows how he just wants to go back to a normal life with his family. Heck, and that's just the first game. As the series goes on, the story gets deeper and deeper, and by the time we get far enough into the X series, we're seeing full-blown anime cinematics. But it all started here in 1987 when Capcom was doing it right. Oh, and Mega Man blinks. I'm sorry, but that just really impresses me. 8 bits to work with, and they make the main character blink. It's the little things.
I know, right?
Yes, and hey guys, there's another statue.
Oh, hey, look at that! Oh, nice statue!
Difficulty! Now we really get into the meat and taters of how Mega Man perfected the side-scroller. It's no secret that Mega Man is tough, but then again, look at other games of the NES era. It's hard to imagine what the developers were thinking sometimes. It was like pretty damn common back in the day for a game over to be exactly that. You ran out of lives, or men, as we called them? Fuck you, bro, you gotta start over. Games back then were already so frustratingly difficult, and when you couple that with the fact that all your sweat and tears just get flushed down the drain after a game over, it's kinda disheartening. Even a really solid side-scroller like Super Mario would just plop you right back at the beginning if you got a game over. While Mega Man has been consistently a pretty hard game, it was a lot more forgiving. You had a lot of life and could take quite a few hits before dying. It's also kind of interesting how the life meter actually had little discernible bars within it, so you could even tell that some enemies did more damage to you than others. And the whole game over thing was much less discouraging in Mega Man. All you really lost was your continue point in a given level. The bosses you beat stayed beat. Unless you turned off the console. But starting in Mega Man 2, there were passwords, so that wasn't even an issue anymore. The levels themselves were on a really respectable learning curve as well. If you've seen Egoraptor's Mega Man sequelitis, you know what I'm talking about here. Yeah, the levels were tough, but they weren't designed to piss you off by being hard for the sake of hard. They were designed so that in order to progress, you had to learn. When Mega Man presents you with a new challenge, you're always given fair warning or shown an example of what happens before it actually happens to you. Instead of learning a game's mechanics by dying and being set way back, maybe you just take a little damage and make a mental note not to do that again. I mean, you're never gonna learn anything if you aren't given a few chances to do it right. Right? Anyway, it's kinda hard, but not too hard. Enough said.
Bill's my friend. You made a deal. You'll have to stick to it, or else I'm telling.
But if I just let her win, then I'll get voted out. I only barely scraped past the fries vote. I'm doomed next.
Well, if you're nice enough, maybe the viewers will take your side. And winning's not off the table. I won last time just by being a good friend.
No, you didn't. You just got a pity victory. You did.
Controls. I can't stress enough how much of a difference a control scheme like Mega Man's makes when scrolling sideways. It's gotta be the single greatest differentiating factor when it comes to what sets Mega Man apart from other games in this genre. I mean, obviously there are only so many buttons on an NES controller, but even then, some layouts just make no sense. But what I'm really talking about is how it feels to control Mega Man. Everything is just intuitive and makes a lot of sense. When you jump, the speed at which you travel upwards and back down again feels comfortable, and you immediately understand the limits of Mega Man's jumps. The best part of it all, though, is complete control over your trajectory as you're falling, which really makes no sense as far as physics is concerned, but as a player, it really puts you in tune with Mega Man. You are in complete control. From the moment your feet leave the ground, this jump is going to be however you want it to be, unless some enemy has other plans. And that raises another really good point about Mega Man's controls. The only time you don't have control over Mega Man's movement is when you get hit, which not only causes you damage, but pushes you back a little bit. Sometimes it seems like the damage you take from a hit is an afterthought next to how annoying it is to get knocked off a ladder or into a death pit, and firing the Mega Buster is pretty satisfying in and of itself. It'll fire as fast as you can press the button, but you can only have 3 bullets on the screen at once, so it forces you to try and find a middle ground between speed and accuracy. Think about Contra, for example. It lets you fire at a crazy speed in all kinds of different directions, but then overcompensates by throwing a ton of enemies and projectiles at you and making it really easy to die. I mean, there are a lot of games out there where the control scheme is basically the same as Mega Man, but they just don't feel as good. A lot of times there's all this confusing momentum to deal with, or really awkward jumping and falling speed, or like a freaking delay on weapon attacks. But not Mega Man. He's here to do exactly what you tell him, just as long as you've got the skill to work that controller. And don't even get me going on Mega Man X. You want perfect controls? Mega Man X. All the way. No arguments. Shut up. I hear you arguing. Nope, shut up. Zip it. But that's a video for another time. Well,
as you can see, it's very small in there. Newer ones have things like a little restaurant seating area, which allows them to sell beer in the state of Pennsylvania. Ones like this wouldn't be allowed to sell beer because they don't have a dining area. It has to be considered a cafe. And that's probably one of the other reasons why they did that. Yeah, I guess the...
Well, this was just one guy's opinion, but I stand by it. I really do think Mega Man perfected the side-scrolling genre. There were games that preceded it that had maybe some of the qualities that made Mega Man so great, but Mega Man combined them all into a pretty little blue package and provided us with countless hours of fun. And I'm sad to say it, but it looks like Mega Man March has come to an end. I had a great time paying my respects to the Blue Bomber, and I hope you guys also enjoyed it. Maybe I even scored him a few new fans. But I know a lot of you are itching for some Pokemon action. I've been holding out on you, but fear not, my first video in April will be a Pokemon video, so look forward to it. Here are some other videos I've probably made. Oh, and make sure you subscribe or I will personally push you onto a bed of spikes. See ya!